Hello, I thought I would do a short video here, sort of as a review of the Lanzar Heritage HTG257. And first off, I like to point out this says it's 2000 watt. They don't really give much info on the power output of this thing other than that, but that is probably a very short peak or very short interval power output capability. There was at least one person on the internet who he does a lot of car audio stuff and has a YouTube channel. He tested one of these with his dyno, as they call it, and at 4 ohms bridged, he got about 300 watts RMS. And it was like almost exactly. Now, I've seen another person, or maybe it was the same guy, I can't remember, someone do 2 ohms bridged, which this thing is not rated for, but it hit like 550 RMS watts, or watts RMS, however you'd like to say that. So I ran this. It's like, I don't know, 7 years old or more. And you can see this is sort of like a metallic brown. I like to call it a June bug sort of color. It's like metallic brown here. That is all, I believe, from UV radiation, because I had it in the back of my car and it was subject to lots of sunlight. You can sort of see some of it's still black there. The back is still black. Bottom is still black. Some of these like side pieces are still black. But if you're wondering why this looks metallic brown, I think it's from UV radiation. So back to the point. I ran this thing at like 4 ohms at first with a pair of like Rockford Fosgate Punch P1s, I think they were. I got them for really cheap from someone in a box that was probably too big for them, but I didn't care. At the time, I didn't have a lot of money, so I just bought this to power them. And it was okay, pretty good. But I ended up, since I wanted some more trunk space, I looked up this JBL, the S3-1224 or 1224, if you want to call it that way, because it's the 12-inch of the S3, like Series 3, and you can switch it between 2 or 4 ohms. And I've been running that on this amp for, I don't know, 4 years maybe now. I can't remember how long it's been. In this box, it's a sealed box, about 0.9 cubic feet, and it's been pretty good. I believe it gets a little bit louder than what I was doing with those Punch P1s. And the only issues I ever had with this thing is overheating in the summer and, well, sort of half the year or more overheating whenever it's warm out. I'm in Illinois, so like mid-Illinois. So it ranges from hot to, somewhat cold. And then like when I first installed it, my ground wire wasn't good enough. It didn't have a good connection. So once I got the ground wire, a better connection to the chassis, it fixed that issue. And I got around the issue with the heat problem by just putting a DC fan on top of it. Like you can do 1 or 2, depending on what size you get, and just have it active cooling this thing, and that will keep it from auto shutting off due to overheating. Now, like I said in the beginning, this thing's rated bridged at 4 ohms only. But since I'm about to replace this with that thing and switch to 2, I said, screw it, I will turn this thing to 2 ohms and run this bridged, because it doesn't really matter if I break it now. It's not that much of an expensive amp. So I ran this thing for about a month and a half at 2 ohms bridged, and I didn't have any issues. But it is the middle of winter, so I can't tell you if it got hotter or anything, but I had no issue running it at 2 ohms, and I had it at about 45% gain or 50% gain, because that's where I needed it based off my head unit signal to keep it from clipping. So if you want to risk it, then you can go ahead and try running it at 2 ohms, and you'll get about 200 extra watts out of this thing. Like I said, it was like 300 watts RMS at 4 ohms bridged, and about 550 at 2 ohms bridge max. But kind of do it at your own risk. You can maybe get more power, but I don't know how long it will last. But I've run this thing for, like I said in the beginning, about 7 years, and it's still working. It's just that I'm upgrading to double subs and that SCAR amp to get even more bass. So hopefully you found this helpful. Thanks for watching.